Hello everyone and welcome to Kiki Crochet. In this video we're going to learn how to crochet gloves with fingers, and this is going to be an adult size. This is how our glove looks like. So this glove is made into two different pieces. We're going to make it horizontally by making single crochet, and we're going to make two pieces. Then we're going to connect them together by making slip stitches all around, and then at the end we are going to crochet the cuff of our glove. So in order to start our glove we have to take our hand and put it on a blank piece of paper and draw our hand. Once we do that, we want to draw a line on our wrist over here. So we are going to measure with our measuring tape from each finger up to our wrist and see how many centimeters or inches each finger from top to your wrist, how many inches or centimeters it is. I'm gonna work mine in centimeters, so you might want to convert yours into inches. So I'm measuring from my pinky finger to my wrist, from this finger to the wrist, from my middle finger to my wrist, from the index finger to the wrist, and from my thumb to the wrist. Once I do that, I am going to measure how long it's from the opening, from the separation of the two fingers to my wrist, how long it is from this separation over here to the wrist, from this separation to the wrist, and from this separation to the wrist down here. And then we want to measure how thick each finger is. So once we do that, I have already made my first glove, so I am going to use the same measurements. So from my pinky finger to my wrist, it's 15 centimeters. From this finger to my wrist, it's 17.5 centimeters. From my middle finger to my wrist, it's 18.75 centimeters. From my index finger to my wrist, it's 18 centimeters. And from my thumb to my wrist, it's 12.5 centimeters long. And once we finish each finger, we're going to be measuring the separation over here, and I'm going to show you on the glove why we have to take the measurements on each separation over here. So let's start. Oh, and I forgot. And each of my fingers are 2 centimeters wide. And my thumb is 2.5 centimeters wide. Okay? So we want to have a copy of our hand. So let's start. And we want to make a chain as long as our wrist to our pinky finger is. So we are starting our glove from the wrist to the pinky finger. So I want my chain to be about 15 centimeters long. So I'm going to be using a 100% acrylic yarn and a 4mm crochet hook. And I think it would be nice not to use any thicker yarn, because with this yarn and the 4mm crochet hook, I think it's thick enough. So let's start. and I'm going to start with a chain of 27. I'm going to start with 27 chains. So we're going to start with our beginning knot, and we're going to make 27 chains. So 27 chains means that I'm going to have 26 single crochet in my first row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27 chains. So let's start making one single crochet in each stitch. So I'm going to skip the first chain and I'm going to go to the second one and make a single crochet. Next stitch, 2, next stitch, 3, next stitch, 4, and I'm going to keep making one single crochet in every chain. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, and my last chain, 26. Chain 1 and turn your work. So we have a total of 26 single crochet, and now I'm going to do my second row with one single crochet in each of the next 26 stitches. So one single crochet in every stitch, starting from my first stitch over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, and my last stitch, 26. Chain 1. And what we're going to do in order to complete our pinky finger, we have to do 3 more rows of 26 single crochet. So we're going to have a total of 5 rows for our pinky finger, and that's how we're going to do that's how we're going to continue each finger. Each finger is going to have a total of 5 rows of single crochet. So we have completed our first 2 rows, and we're going to do off camera the next 3. And when I finish my next 3 single crochet, I'm going to turn my video back on to see how we're going to continue for our next finger. Okay, so I've completed my 5 rows of single crochet, of 26 single crochet. So what we're going to do now is you're going to measure from here, because we have started from here, and now we've ended up down to our wrist. That's why we always want to have odd number of rows, because since once we have odd number of rows, that means that our last row is going to end up over here. So once we start, we're going to be able to have the opening for each finger. So we're going to measure from this opening over here, the separation of our fingers here, down to our wrist, and depending on how many centimeters that is. So mine's was about 10 centimeters or 9.5 centimeters. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your measuring tape, measure 10 centimeters from your work. 9.5 is somewhere over here. So you're gonna count the number of stitches from the beginning up to over here where you had 9.5 centimeters. So that way you're going to know where to make your opening. So, well, where you're supposed to measure from this side over here where you're gonna start. So from here you're gonna take your measuring tape and up to where you have your 9.5 centimeters, you are going to make one stitch in every stitch up to that point, and then we're gonna make our chain stitches, where on that chain we're gonna start creating our next finger. So in this case, I am going to make one stitch in every stitch for the first 16 single crochet. Starting from my first stitch over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So up to those 16 single crochet is how much I measured from here down to my wrist. So what we're going to do now is we want to make a chain. So what we want to do now is we want to make a chain. So we are at this point over here, which is my 9.5 centimeters. So I want to make a chain that is going to be from here, and I am going to create my next finger with this chain. So it's 9.5 up to this point, and my next finger is 17.5 centimeters. So I need a chain to be about 8 centimeters long. So when I measure from my wrist up to the end of my chain, it's supposed to be 17.5 centimeters. So in this case, I am going to make a chain 15. So the only reason that I know how many chains I'm going to make is because I have already created my first glove. So I'm going to make 15 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So what we're going to do is we're going to skip our first chain and go to the chain after that. So we're going to make a single crochet in the second chain from our hook, and I'm going to be making one single crochet in each of those chains. So I made 15 chains. I'm supposed to have a total of 14 single crochet on top of this chain. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and my last chain, 14. And now I'm going to continue crocheting on those single crochet that I did before I made my chain. So this was a total of 16 single crochet. So 16 plus the 14 that I just did on my chain, I'm going to have a total of 30 single crochet in this row. So 14 so far, and this is my next stitch, my next single crochet. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, and my last stitch, 30. Chain 1. So our 5 rows start from the row that we just did. So this was my first row for the next finger. So I have made my chain 1. I'm going to turn my work and I'm going to do 4 more rows of 30 single crochet. When I finish my 4 rows, I'm going to have a total of 5 rows. I'm going to turn my video back on again. So let's do 4 more rows of 30 single crochet. So I've completed my 4 extra rows of single crochet. So for this finger, I have a total of 5 rows of single crochet again. So the reason we want to have an odd number of rows for our glove for each finger is that every time that we finish making each finger, our row ends over here, our 5th row. So then when we measure with our measuring tape and we start our next finger, we start from here, we make our chains, and then we start our 5 rows all over again for the next finger. So if you, depending on the yarn that you use, if you find 5 rows to be too much or too little and you need to have an even number of rows, an even number of rows means that you're going to end over here. So what you're going to do, you're going to cut your yarn and you're going to attach your yarn again from the beginning. So what we're going to do now is we are going to make our middle finger, and our middle finger is supposed to be 18.75 centimeters. Before we do that though, we are going to measure how long it's from the separation of these 2 fingers from here to our wrist. So once we measure this, we are going to take our measuring tape. So mine over here is about, let's see, so mine is about 10.5 centimeters. So what we're gonna do is we are going to take our measuring tape from the beginning, from the wrist, and I am going to measure 10.5 centimeters. So somewhere about here. So I'm going to make 1 single crochet in every stitch from the beginning up to this stitch over here where I measured my 10.5 centimeters. From this point I'm going to make my chain stitches, and this is the chain stitches are going to be my middle finger. So in this case we are going to start with 17 centimeters. So starting from this first single crochet, I am going to make 1 single crochet in each of the first 17 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17 single crochet. Now I'm going to do my chain stitches, and I'm going to make 18 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So what we want is, once we measure from the beginning of our wrist up to the end of our chain stitches, we want to have the same measurement as our finger. So from here to the beginning to the end of our chain, it's supposed to be 18.75 centimeters. So I did my 18 chains, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make one single crochet in each of those chain stitches. So out of the 18 chains, I'm going to have a total of 17 single crochet. So we're going to start from the second chain of our hook, and we're going to make one single crochet in each chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and my last chain, 17. And I'm going to do one single crochet in each of those single crochet that I did before I make my chain. So I have 17 single crochet and 17 single crochet that I did in the beginning. I'm going to have a total of 34 single crochet for the first row of my middle finger. So 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, and my last stitch, 34. Chain 1, turn your work. What we want to do now is we want to make 4 more rows of 34 single crochet to complete our middle finger. So when I finish my extra 4 rows, I'm going to turn my video back on again to see how we're going to do our index finger. So at this point, we have completed our 5 rows of single crochet for our middle finger, and this is how our glove looks like so far. So we see again, by making odd number of rows, my 5th row ends down here, so then I can make my single crochet and my chain to start my next finger. So what we're going to do now is we are going to measure how long it's from the separation of the middle finger to the index finger, and it's about 11 centimeters. So what we're going to do is we are going to make 1 single crochet in each stitch. so we measured about 11 centimeters. So I'm going to take my measuring tape from the wrist and I am going to measure 11 centimeters from my glove, and my 11 centimeters are up to about here, from the wrist up to this stitch over here. I'm gonna work 1 single crochet in every stitch, and once I come to this point I'm gonna make my chain to create my index finger. So in this case we are going to make 1 single crochet in the first 19 stitches, starting from my first stitch over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Oops, 19. I made an extra stitch, so it's supposed to be 19 centimeters. So from the top of my index finger up to my wrist, it's a total of 18 centimeters. So from this part over here where we measured 11 centimeters, I want to make a chain which is 7 centimeters. So 11 plus 7 is going to give me the total of 18 centimeters of my index finger. So in this case we are going to make a chain of we're going to make a chain, 14 chains. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 chains. So we're going to start making single crochet from the second chain of our hook, and 1 single crochet in each of our chains. So out of the 14 chains I am going to have a total of 13 single crochet on top of my chain stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and my last chain, 13, in 1 single crochet in each of the next 19 stitches. So 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, and 32 single crochet. So my index finger, I've completed the first row for my index finger, so we are going to do 4 more rows of 32 single crochet off camera. When I finish, I'm going to turn my video back on again to see how we're going to continue to make our thumb. So we've completed the 5 rows for our index fingers. We did the 1 row on camera and the extra 4 rows of camera, so we have a total of 5 rows. And we see again that we are down here to start our thumb. So the thumb is going to be done a little differently than the other fingers, because it's already wide enough, our glove is already wide enough, so we don't want to add many more rows to the final width. So what we're gonna do is we are going to measure how long it's from the beginning of our we want to measure how long it's from the separation of our index to our thumb. So it's about 7.5 centimeters. So what we're gonna do is we are going to crochet 1 single crochet in each stitch for 7.5 centimeters. So 7.5 centimeters is about here. So you're going to count how many stitches are from your first stitch up to your 7.5 centimeters, or depending on your hand, depending on the centimeters that you came up for your own hand. So 1 stitch in every stitch for all those stitches over here, and then we are going to make our chain, and that chain is going to be our thumb. But what we're gonna do in order to make this separation of the thumb from the rest of our hand, we are going to make 1 stitch in every stitch, but in the last 3 of those stitches up until we have our 7.5 centimeters, we are going to have a half double crochet, a double crochet, and a triple crochet. And this way we are going to have the opening of our thumb. So let me find my crochet hook. So we're gonna make a chain 1, and in this case the length from here to here is going to be 13 centimeters. 13 single crochet. So I am going to make 1 single crochet in each of the next 10 single crochet, and the 11th stitch is going to be a half double crochet, the 12th is going to be a double crochet, and the 13th is going to be a triple crochet. So 1 single crochet in our first 10 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So my next stitch is going to be a half double crochet. My 12th stitch is going to be a double crochet, and my 13th stitch is going to be a triple crochet. So I'm going to wrap my yarn around my hook twice. I'm going to put my hook in the 13th stitch, grab the yarn, pull through the first 2 loops, grab the yarn, pull through the next 2 loops, and grab the yarn, pull through the last 2 loops. So by doing this, we have created the opening for our thumb. So this part over here. So now we want to make a chain that is going to give us the rest centimeters. So from here to our wrist was 7.5, and the total length from my thumb to my wrist is 12.5 centimeters. So I want to make a chain that is going to be 5 centimeters long. So once we measure from the start of our wrist up to the end of our chains, it's supposed to be 12.5 centimeters. In this case, I am going to make 10 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we are going to skip our first chain and make a single crochet in the chain after that, and we're going to work 1 single crochet in each of our chains. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and my last chain 9, and I am going to work 1 single crochet in each of my next 13 stitches. So 9 plus 13, we are going to have a total of 22 single crochet on my first row for my thumb. So 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and my last stitch 22. Chain 1, and we're going to work all the rows for the thumb together, because what we're going to do is, because we really don't want to have a total of 5 rows more, because we see that the total length, the total width for the for our hand is where it's supposed to be. We don't really want it to make it wider. So in order to save us about 2 rows of single crochet, we are going to work the thumb a little differently. So we have made the first row for our thumb. I have made my chain 1. So what we're going to do now is we're going to make 1 single crochet in each of the next 22 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and my last stitch. (22) Chain 1, turn your work, and what we're going to do now is we are going to make 1 single crochet in each of our next 9 stitches. So the total stitches that I'm going to be doing now is the total stitches that I added by making my chain. So I made a chain of 10 and I added 9 stitches to my work, so that's the amount of stitches that I'm going to be making 1 stitch in every stitch at this point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and my last stitch 9. What we're going to do is we are going to make a slip stitch in our next single crochet, chain 1, and turn your work. So starting from this first single crochet over here, we're going to make 1 single crochet in the next 9 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 single crochet, and this was my 4th row of single crochet for my thumb. Chain 1, turn your work, and now we're gonna do the 5th and final row for this part of our glove. So I'm gonna do 1 single crochet for each of the next 9 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 single crochet, 1 single crochet in the stitch, in the 10th stitch where you did your slip stitch in the previous row, 10, and 1 single crochet in each of the next 12 stitches. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and my last stitch, 22. Chain 1 and cut your yarn, pull the loop and tighten up. So this is how the first part of our glove looks like. So this is our thumb, our index finger, our middle finger, the next finger, and our pinky finger. What we're gonna do now off camera is one more piece where we are going to crochet it the same exact way that we did our first piece over here. Once we do our second piece, we are going to place them together, and we are going to connect them by making slip stitch in every single crochet all around, and then we are going to make this part over here at the end. So at this point, let me show you how our glove will look like. Well, I should have done it in the beginning, but this is how our glove looks like. And we are crocheting our glove up to this point over here, and then we're going to make decreases to make our wrist part over here. So let's make our second piece off camera, and when I finish my second piece, I am going to turn my video back on to see how we're going to close, how we're going to connect our two pieces together.